But we're going to start. We'll go to Zach Bloomquist with, wonder what game he might pick.
Zach, put him up.
On this week 3 reaction show. I'm assuming you're going with
Good try, Ziggy. Good try. I like the attempt.
I'm working on it. I'm hustling.
You know where we're going. We're going right to the 70-point Dolphins.
And they could have scored more.
You're right. We could have. We could have put up 80 today. But you know what? We were humble. We only put up 70.
You were humble. You only scored 70 points.
But God, did we look amazing. And you know who we didn't have today? Guess who we didn't have?
No Waddle.
No
Waddle, no problem.
Waddle.
That's what I was going to bring up. That's the crazy part, is they were missing one of the best receivers in football, and he scored 70 points. I just wish that I remembered that Sean Payton was trash talking Tua a year ago. I totally forgot that.
Well, Sean Payton trash talked Tua. Sean Payton trash talked Nathaniel Hackett about how bad of a job he did in Denver. Sean Payton ran his mouth on so many different people, and now right at the moment, a 50-point loss in week 3 for your 0-3 team after already losing to the Raiders and the Commanders at home. I mean, this is the biggest nightmare start imaginable for Denver. But let's keep it Dolphins focused. It's 70 points. It's third most points, tied for the third most points scored in the history of the NFL.
I mean, 70 points. That's when you watch like Ole Miss play against Mercer.
Oh yeah, it felt like watching
like
Alabama play one of those, like FCS schools or something like that.
No team has scored this many points since Super Bowl I happened.
1966 or 67, somewhere around there, right?
It was 66. Yeah, like the first Super Bowl season in the NFL. I think it was the Commanders put up like 72 on the Giants.
Yeah, the Commanders had 72 points against the Giants in 1966. The NFL record was in the 1940 NFL Championship game. The Bears beat Washington as well as connected here. The Washington then Redskins 73-0 in the NFL Championship game. That's a bad game for the Redskins.
The thing that made this so scary today is we've talked forever about this offense with a healthy Tua and Tyreek Hill and Waddle and whatnot. And Hill was awesome for a quarter and a half. But this Dolphins run game, and not just Mostert. You had Raheem Mostert, you had the Texas A&M kid, Achane. Just fantastic. If they can get that run game going, along with the best weapons in the NFL on the receiving end of the ball too, I don't see how they're going to be they're unstoppable, yeah. Because I've knocked Miami for my only red flag on them recently, the last year and a half or so, has been the run game's been a little bit mediocre. But if they can do what they did today, they can't be stopped.
Yeah.
I mean, no one's stopping them today.
Achane and Mostert combined for 375 yards of offense and 8 touchdowns. I was typing up our notes pregame, and I started to type in 4, and then I looked back at the screen and went, wait, 8? They each had 4 touchdowns in this game. Achane had 203 yards on the ground, 2 touchdowns. In the air, he went for 30 yards and 2 touchdowns. Mostert 82 and 3 on the ground. 60 and 1 in the air. I mean,
these guys broke the DFS slate today.
It's like watching the Dolphins right now is seriously like watching a video game. And when you have Kevin Harlan announcing them, he's one of my favorite announcers. He has that video game like excitement voice to him. It's seriously like you're watching someone play Madden with Tyreek Hill running around the field, just running circles around defensive backs basically. Right now Tua Tagovailoa, he looks fine. I know people were concerned about whether or not he would get injured again, but as long as he's healthy, he looks great right now. He looks comfortable in the pocket, and as long as that offensive line could stay healthy and keep Tua protected, it's gonna are the Dolphins the best team in the NFL right now?
Oh yeah, I mean we were just talking in our chat the other day, Paul. We were saying how so far we've been overrating the Dolphins, and I agree with you. I'm like, yeah,
a statement.
I didn't say that. I didn't say that.
But me and Jack said we thought the Dolphins were being overrated.
I said I thought that they are more beatable than I have been giving them credit for. But they just came out today and totally
we weren't trying to throw shade at Miami. We were just saying, like we were just saying they weren't the best team in the league, but they're still like probably a top 10 team.
No, they're unbeatable. You can't beat them.
I actually
it's
think
them in San Francisco.
I think I still might pick Buffalo over the Dolphins at the moment. I mean, despite the 70-20. Yeah, Buffalo won 37-3.
Is that in Buffalo?
Today. It's in Buffalo.
That's
that game, if you go in there, because this is a game where the Dolphins, well, we've never seen them put up 70 before, but this is a game where the Dolphins normally will go and lose to Buffalo and just kind of have like that big older brother, little brother sort of a complex within the AFC East. It used to be New England, Buffalo recently. If they go into Buffalo and beat the Bills, I mean, you're undisputedly the best team in football. I have to imagine.
What are we doing on this show next week if the Dolphins go to Buffalo and score 70 points?
70 points. I mean, they're just, they'd be the best team ever. But Tua in the first half, 16 for 16, right, Zach? And then his first 17 passes completed. He ends the day 309 yards and 4 touchdowns. It just looked great again. And this Vic Fangio defense, finally we're starting to see that after the first game against the Chargers, who have a very good offense, to be fair. 3 takeaways for them. They absolutely stifle Russell Wilson and the Broncos, which isn't extremely difficult to do for most teams. But nonetheless, just a great performance overall.
They also had incentive, right? They had reason to run it up. Like if a head coach tells me that I think that you are going to be benched this year, like you're just not that good. Then I played him a year later. I want to ball out. My whole team wants to ball out. Like they didn't need to score 70 points. When you have incentive to run it up, that's when you run it up.
We're not fans of Sean Payton on this. At least, I'm sorry. I'll speak for myself. I'm not a big Sean Payton fan given the 2010 NFC Championship game history. So I love seeing the Broncos suck. And we said on the show, we said Miami's going to kill them. I don't think anyone expected a 50-point game. But the Broncos are, this is a really crippling loss for believers still in Sean Payton and Russell Wilson.
No, I mean, the season's over. And if you're Sean Payton, he's certainly furious right now, right? He came in and talked a big game about how much of a better job he was going to do. He and Russell Wilson were getting along. Last year, the Broncos started 2-1. This year, they start 0-3. Like the season's basically over. People are going to start demanding if they bench Russ and tank for like Caleb Williams at this point. Like the wheels are off in Denver. And I don't know what they're going to do.
It's beyond embarrassing.
Yeah, Sean Payton is humiliated.
What do you think the right move is for the Broncos right now?
Ziggy, he was your coach of the year, wasn't he?
Look, I still think he was
it wasn't.
I did my best.
Yeah,
right?
I've had a million. Yeah.
Wait, so
sometimes you get it wrong, but what should the Broncos do? I don't know, right? Because they'll win a couple games. There's no point, I think, in trying to blow things up. They've got a lot of talent.
But what can you do with Russell Wilson? Like, what do you even do with him right now? You have this contract, and he looks bad.
I mean, I did, yeah.
And the rest of the team isn't very good.
Like I did tell you guys in the last show, I believe, that I've fully changed my stance on Caleb Williams. I told you that, right? Like I think he's going to be amazing in the NFL. But the thing is with the Broncos, it's like kind of like a purgatory type thing. It's like they'll probably be good enough to be like 6-11, but they won't get the number 1 pick.
Yeah, I'm not sure what you do in Denver. Colorado, the Buffaloes, and the Denver Broncos combined to lose 112-26 this weekend. Which, I mean, a bad weekend to be a fan of Colorado sports. If you're Denver, can you get off of Wilson right now? Like, how much dead cap are you hitting?
So I on the count of this, I took a look at the math. Realistically, if you want to get off Russell Wilson, it's going to be a 2-year process starting next year, right? So basically, here's what they have to do. Oh, man. What you do is you do what's called a post-June 1. Like, I don't think anybody wants to trade for that Russell Wilson contract right now. And realistically, they can't trade him. Yeah. So what you have to do is what's called a post-June 1 cut. Basically, they'll take $35 million in dead cap next year, and then about $50 million the next year. And then they'll be off from Russell Wilson. And that sounds bad, but if you've got a rookie quarterback, the cap's going up, you can make this work, suck for a year, and then move on. But it's crazy because when they traded for Russell Wilson, no one made them give him this extension, right? They just decided to give him a close to record-setting extension for no reason. And boy, howdy, I bet they regret that.
Boy, howdy.
Boy, that's new. Boy,
howdy, it's bad in Denver right now.
My aunt and uncle live in Denver. They become Colorado sports fans recently, so they're probably pretty upset about that.
You know what? The Colorado sports fans just won an NBA championship. They don't have to complain.
Yeah, they were pumped about that.
Yeah. And one more note on the Dolphins here. The second most yards in the history of the NFL. The record was held by the 1951 Los Angeles Rams against the New York Yanks. 735 yards. So a almost record-breaking, just unbelievable historic performance from Miami today. They end with 726 yards of total offense. Just ridiculous.
They averaged over 10 yards a play.
It was like a perfect game. It was as close to a perfect game as you could have. 10 touchdowns, 726 yards, no turnovers. Just, Zach, applause for you because the rest of the show is an absolute hell right now.
Give it a little noise. Do your best. Okay,
Ziggy, why don't
you've improved.
Yeah, Ziggy, he was neighing.
I'm working. I've been practicing.
Last time was pretty much like a neigh, like a horse. Ziggy, that wasn't bad.